in what most certainly could be a harbinger of things to come, I got a first for you that I think tells us where we are in college football and what we can expect for the future. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Did you know that this is the first time since the coaches poll started to put out a preseason ranking all the way back in 1979 that Oklahoma, USC, and Nebraska have all been left out of the initial top 25? For those of you that are new to the show or new to the channel, this comes out of a space where Oklahoma is my team. It's always been my team. And one of the reasons that it's been cool to be an Oklahoma fan for damn near 25 years is you could count on Oklahoma to win at a high level. We're talking about 18 of 20 years with at least 10 wins in a season. 8-5 used to be 5-7, used to be 6-7 at Oklahoma. Now you got 2 6-7 seasons sandwiching a 10-3 season in a prove-it year for Brent Venables. And you can make the argument that Lincoln Riley has made his decision to go from Oklahoma to USC set back 2 programs. You could say that. But I think it's important to uncover this because as I'm looking at it, there's really a common theme among these 3 teams. So I want to start with this, right? I think of Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, Nebraska as 5 examples of blue bloods that we expect to set the standard for what you think of when you think of college football. Since 1950, Alabama has won 14 national championships, claimed national championships, and seen 4 men win the Heisman Trophy, and that's just since 2009. You also got USC in here, who has 7 national titles since 1950 and has 8 Heisman winners. Ohio State has 8 national championships and 6 Heisman winners, and the only 2-time Heisman winner, Archie Griffin. And then you're talking about guys, Nebraska, 5 national championships, 3 Heisman winners. Then there's Oklahoma with 7-7. Now, you probably already recognized the difference between 2 of these teams and 3 of these teams, but I'm going to spell this out. So the 2 programs, Ohio State and Alabama, that have remained members of their respective leagues, the Big Ten and the SEC, for over a century, I might add, and their decision not to change conferences or even nudge toward independence so they can make more money has paid dividends as they have remained competitive in this highly volatile era of college football because there's some stability in who they are represented in their conference. That matters. The geography on this thing, it absolutely positively matters. Meanwhile, we've seen the Pac-12 collapse and something like reborn in the last 3 years. We've seen the expansion of the Big Ten. We've seen the expansion of the SEC. We've seen the expansion of the ACC. We've seen the expansion of the Big 12. But we've also seen 49% of college football programs since 2022 have changed conferences. That's 36% of the 36% turnover rate, which is ridiculous. But since I think of the modern era of college football as beginning with integration in 1970, you talk about Oklahoma, USC, Alabama, Ohio State, Nebraska, and you know what you're going to get, right? But since Nebraska was the first to make this move outside of their homeland, which was Big 8 to Big 12, basically the same thing, you can see that it ain't paid off, and that trade ain't been fair. You didn't want no truck with it because you lost it. Neither USC nor Nebraska debuted in this season's coaches poll, but Oklahoma was left out for the first time since 1999. And again, that's when my antenna went up. It means that 62 FBS coaches who vote in the coaches poll did not believe that any one of these blue blood programs was among the top 25 in a 136-team division. Now, if this felt unfathomable 15 years ago, it's because it is, because you could have a down year, but it's really difficult for Oklahoma, USC, and Nebraska to all be coming off years so piss poor and awful that none of them are in the top 25. Hence, I wrote about this at foxsports.com, and you can go read it there. Also, I kind of want to take this chance to just remind you what the odds are for what you can expect for Oklahoma, USC, and Nebraska when we're talking about just making the college football playoff. And one of the ways you can do that is you go to Bet Online, who partners with the show for the start of this college football season. Very excited about that, where you can bet, you can get high payouts, you get fast payouts, you can see some record-breaking bets being made. So Oklahoma, well, let's go with win-loss. Let's not go with college football playoff. Let's not even talk about teams that are not in the top 25. Let's talk about win totals, right? So Oklahoma's win total going into 2025 is minus 200 to go over 6.5 wins and plus 160 to go under 6.5 wins. We're setting it at 6.5. We're saying, can you get to 7? Oklahoma used to get to 7 wins by the second week of October, guys. Now we're talking about, can they get to 7 wins at all? Because that's how many they've been good for over the past 3 years. 6 plus 6 plus 10 is 22. Divided by 3 is 7 for all intents and purposes, right? I'm getting flustered over this because I think you'll understand I've got every reason to. And then I keep looking at it, right? I keep going, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not just them. Maybe we're looking at other teams. Maybe we're looking at programs inside of the Big Ten that might be gutter. Like, I don't know, Nebraska and USC. USC being in the Big Ten still just wild to me, but so is Nebraska, right? So we get to Nebraska, and we find out that they're over under 7.5 wins, which is higher, frankly, than Oklahoma. They also got a pretty sweet schedule. Oklahoma's got, we'll get to it, a schedule of schedules, right? And then at USC, the over-under is set at 7.5 wins. So they're both 7.5 wins. USC and Nebraska get the extra win because look back at Oklahoma. Again, thanks to Bet Online for partnering with the show. Go check them out. Oklahoma's schedule, number 1, Texas. Number 8, Alabama. Number 9, LSU. Number 13, South Carolina. Number 14, Michigan. Number 15, Ole Miss. Number 18, Tennessee. All lined up with a 55-gallon drum of whoop ass and ready to pour it all on OU. There was a time, not that long ago, when many Oklahoma fans wanted this. This is what they wanted. Celebrated the move to the SEC. Even had an SEC day to celebrate the move. Because the grass must be greener over there. And it is, right? And as far as the money be greener. The money is bigger. The money is larger. But are you trading money for your reputation? And that is a conversation many people have, and that's not a conversation many people like to have. And it feels like while Oklahoma's going to make more money in the SEC in the long run, that in this this awful interim, there's just pain for you and me, because you and me don't see any of that money, right? Like, we don't care about that. We care about winning. And at places like Oklahoma and Nebraska, where that's the pro team in the state, that is who our identity is. It's why I've always been sympathetic to Nebraska fans, and why, we've been saying for years, what Oklahoma can't be is the next Nebraska. That's what they can't be. Nebraska, who since 2011 has had one 10-win season and has, frankly, been embarrassing for those of us that remember Nebraska. For 40 friggin' years, basically since 1962 to 2002, you can count on 2 things at Nebraska. 9 wins and a national championship every 8 years, right? You were going to win one. It's just what it was. Since then, we've been talking about a Nebraska team that went bowling for the first time since 2016, damn near a decade. And now we're talking about a Nebraska team that, can they get to 8 wins, when I'm telling you they used to be good for 9 in a down year. Thinking about Oklahoma, you go to say the same thing, right? Thinking about USC, it's been a little bit more up and down, and everything's going to be down after you have 6 consecutive seasons, 2002 to 2008, with 11 wins or more and 2 national championships. Is 3. We count it. That run is awesome, but you could see that USC was kind of sort of figuring it out. They go 11-3 in Lincoln Riley's first year, and then bang, bad to bad again. Their first year of the Big Ten is almost as bad as Oklahoma's. They go 7-6, and Oklahoma went 6-7. I might also add in here that Nebraska goes, not great. Nobody in here is a world beater, which is why I pivoted from making the college football playoff to, can you outdo the win total? And once again, I have to point out, it's about respecting your roots. It's why I say I'm not on a step mill. It's why you don't see me backing down from being an Oklahoman, because your roots are powerful. And at Oklahoma, at USC, and Nebraska, when you were in the conference for which you had over 100 years in some cases, right? I should say, let's say 50 years. Let's make it that. 50 years as a member, Big 8, Big 12, Pac-10, Pac-12. And then you decide to cut off these roots that made up a 1,000-year-old strong tree. What do you expect is going to happen? Probably going to die. That's what happens when you cut off your roots. That's why we say don't do it. That's why when your roots run deep, you're real strong. It's really difficult to pull you up. It's really difficult to move you. You can stand sturdy like Ohio State, like Alabama. You know who you are, and because you're not having an identity crisis, you can move forward in a time when everybody else is losing their minds. Can you keep your wits about you when all men around you are losing theirs? I say it often. I am a wartime soldier. I'm not useful to most people in peacetime. I'm an OG that way. I just kind of sit back and enjoy the air conditioning. But when things are falling apart, that's when I get activated. So when I see chaos surrounding programs like Nebraska, USC, Oklahoma, I go, all right, now it's time for you to tap me in. Bob had it going on. Lincoln had it until he decided to leave it. It was fine, right? Had I been around for the Big Ten thing, hey, look, Nebraska, you sure you want to ride this train? Yes, there's more money over there. It's a more stable conference. Not necessarily. I mean, y'all making Big 12 more unstable. Well, Missouri and Texas A&M are leaving. Who gives a damn? They don't win nothing. Like, I would have tried to speak in that chaotic moment about who you are. A&M has not won a conference championship of any kind since 1998. Missouri? Are you kidding me? No. We don't need to follow A&M. We don't need to follow. Well, Texas is leaving. Let them. That's what Oklahoma State did with Oklahoma. Let them. If they want to play again, you'll play again. If they don't, you won't. But right now, you're playing with your future, and this is such an important year for Brent Venables. Guy I truly love. Truly. Absolutely love that dude. He's as close to a head coach as I would be. He's turned up. He's turned on. He's working out. He is not asking his players to do anything he would not already do, and in many respects, he can outwork them. John Mateer might be that guy, but he's going to have to be because this schedule's god-awful, and Oklahoma is in danger of being mediocre for a long time.